One of the reasons John Calvin wrote the Institutes of the Christian Religion was to provide a theological guide and a devotional for pastors of local churches. The original edition that was printed was sent out in octavo, which means it was printed in the eighth of a size of a page, which means it would have been that big. Just like the life books that we have at church or those Gideon New Testaments. The purpose was that this way pastors and other church members could have the Institutes in their pockets at all times so they could break it out and read it. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about prayer, and I think it's cool to think about how when these pastors and these Christians back in the 1500s were walking around with the Institutes, they could have pulled out their books and have read these words about prayer. And today, Calvin describes what it means to pray without ceasing. He writes this: "The reason why Paul enjoins us both to pray and to give thanks without ceasing is, of course, that he wishes all men to lift up their desires to God with all possible constancy, at all times, in all places, and in all affairs and transactions, to expect all things from him, and give him praise for all things, since he offers us unfailing reasons to praise and to pray." I think one of the direct applications of this verse and this passage by Calvin is, instead of worrying, to pray. So I've tried to do this in my own life. So instead of worrying about COVID-19, God invites us to pray about it, to pray for our city, to pray for our family, for our church, for our country, for the world. Instead of worrying about e-learning or distance learning, to pray about it. Instead of worrying about our businesses that may be taking a hit right now, God invites us to pray about it. Another application that praying without ceasing has is we are constantly thinking about how we can thank God for what he has given us. No matter what we're going through, no matter what struggle we experience or what suffering we're going through, there are always things to thank God for. And sometimes personally, when I get kind of anxious about something or I'm upset about something, if I pray, if I go to the scriptures and read those words, I'm reminded that in the end, my victory over sin, over death is in Christ. And that comforts me, because at the end of the day, our relationship with God is what matters above all else. So I encourage you all, instead of worrying, to pray and to constantly thank God for everything that he has given us, even during this unique time.